From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the April 11th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Brooke Baldwin.
And I'm Bridget Williams. We're proud to be bringing you coverage of Carolina news and events.
There are just a few days left until income taxes are due, and the procrastinators rush to file at the last moment. It's easy to make mistakes. But Carolina Week's Christine Elliott explains that you can hinder the process if you don't do it the right way.
Come this Monday, most students will have to have their year 2000 tax returns completed. Although it's good to get in the habit of filing your own taxes, tax auditor Charles Brown says if your parents claim you and you don't know it, your return might be incorrect.
You could file a tax return where you're claiming your personal exemption and then your parents could be claiming you as a dependent. There will be a conflict.
And there'd be double deductions, and that's
there will be double deductions, and your return will be flagged probably at our service center for us to look at. It will delay your refund.
Income tax specialist Betty Francisco says communication is key to avoiding this problem.
My best advice to students is before you file your tax return, if your permanent address is your parents, or if you have been being supported by them and they may be wanting to claim you, coordinate, ask them.
Some parents do their children's taxes to avoid the conflict altogether. UNC-Chapel Hill senior Will Lloyd says his father has always done his for him because
I don't feel like I know enough information about how to do taxes or how to file or where the loopholes are or anything like that to do my own.
Francisco says it's not necessarily a bad thing to let parents file for you for now.
So I think at some point you have to make this transition from your parents taking care of this, but whether that occurs when you go to college or it occurs the first year you're out and working, or you know, there's got to be a transition period, and you know, I think it doesn't really matter where it occurs.
Whether you're filing your own tax return or your parents are doing it for you, it's due by Monday, April 16th. The Chapel Hill Post Office will hold its regular hours until 5 p.m. By that time, your return needs to be completed, stamped, postmarked, and in the mail. However, there are other places to go to mail your return that will be open until midnight. In Chapel Hill, I'm Christine Elliott, Carolina Week.
Post offices in both Durham and Raleigh will remain open until Monday night. If you need it, the IRS will help you fill out your tax forms. The nearest office is in Durham at 3308 Chapel Hill Boulevard, or you can call 1-800-829-1040.
Members of a campus anti-hate group have succeeded in meeting with university officials to have their demands heard. This report continues our coverage of the group on the Wake of Emancipation campaign. OWEC protested last week against hate on campus. The last straw for them was a daily Tar Heel column written by controversial conservative David Horowitz. While protesting, the group dropped off a list of demands to Provost Robert Shelton, asking for an end to what they see as the mistreatment of minorities on campus. The provost held meetings with the group Friday and Monday to discuss issues of racism and discrimination. OWEC member Christy Booker says the requests are called demands because they represent things students want and need from the university.
Many of the demands are things that we've been asking for a number of years, and so hopefully this time around we'll continue on the same track that we've started and see all of the demands met.
I do think, though, that we started to identify some of the highest priorities and come up with some specific steps that we can take to address these issues.
Members say the meetings have been helpful so far. OWEC will have another meeting on Monday with the provost.
Protecting themselves from violence is a fight many young women face every day. This week at UNC-Chapel Hill, dozens of young men are joining that fight as well. Many male Carolina students have been sporting navy blue t-shirts with white ribbons to support the 4th annual White Ribbon Campaign. A group of Carolina students started the violence prevention campaign 4 years ago. Male students volunteered to wear the she-shirts and white ribbons for the entire week.
I think that it makes you more of a real man if you wear it, because real men don't beat women. So I think all men should support it.
This week's activities include a speech by the campaign's founder and a rally on campus.
If you've been on Carolina's campus at all this week, you've probably seen the question, do you agree with Marty? This question has left many wondering who's Marty and agree with him about what. Marty Baldwin is a member of the Carolina Campus Crusade for Christ and was chosen to take on the lead role in a public relations effort here at Carolina. It's a campaign that takes place on college campuses throughout the nation, involving bright orange t-shirts and sidewalk inscriptions. One supporter says the idea is to grab people's attention.
I feel like people are visually motivated and they will remember, and some people actually have gotten angry, and I think that's one way to make people interested. And they really want to know who Marty is and why do you agree and why should I agree with Marty.
The week-long preparation culminated Wednesday as Marty spoke about his beliefs on the steps of South Building.
In this week's Speak Out segment, we got opinions from those on campus about the effectiveness of the Marty campaign.
I do personally agree with Marty's beliefs. I just think that it's offending some people on campus because, it's everywhere that you go now. Do you agree with Marty?
It seems like more of like a political campaign than like a religious issue. And I don't know, it kind of seems like a cult now with everybody wearing those t-shirts around.
I think it will definitely spark some controversy. I mean, you're going to spark controversy no matter what you do in this subject. So I think the t-shirts and the editorial, I think it's just a positive way of going about it.
I think it's good for the people. I think it's the campus Christian organizations is bringing them together, but I don't think it's going to bring anybody new in per se.
It's not like the pit preachers where they're telling you you're going to hell, but it's saying God loves you and he wants you to know him as well. And so hopefully it has not ostracized anyone, but it's provided a way for people to talk openly about something that is relevant and personal.
The Marty campaign coincides with Easter, which leads us to our web poll question for the week. Should the state sponsor religious holidays? Go to our website at ibiblio.org/CW to tell us what you think. The Artist Escape Cafe is closed. The owners will pursue new ventures after serving the Chapel Hill community for 2 years. While open, the cafe became a safe haven for many students, especially those in the homosexual community. Even though the doors have shut, many of these students are working to keep the spirit of the Artist Escape alive. They've raised enough money to rent the space next to the old coffee shop and hope to get nonprofit status in order to open a new cafe. Now there's just an empty floor where there used to be a pool table, jukebox, and stage at the Artist Escape. Sophomore Troy Wood says he misses these things, but that they aren't what he misses the most.
All those things made it great, because you could do a variety of things when you were there, but it was mainly just the people that went there that made the Artist Escape what it was. That's what we hope to recreate. Is just bring the people back.
And now that they've found a location, they hope to spend more time finding donors to help reopen the cafe for good.
If you're itching to hit the road this weekend, you might want to take a couple of extra bucks. Carolina Week's Holly Hedrick took a look at how gas prices are pumping up.
Travelers are eager to get out of town, but will need more money to fill their gas tanks. Prices went up again this week in Chapel Hill. One UNC student knows her trip to Charlotte will cost more, but there's nothing she can do about it.
I guess we're kind of in bad shape because it seems like they're raising gas prices this week because everyone's going home for the weekend, so might have to fork out a little extra cash this weekend.
Since Monday, prices have increased an average of 5 to 6 cents per gallon throughout Chapel Hill.
Earlier today at this station, gas was only $1.39 a gallon, but now it's 9 cents higher than that, the highest price increase we found this week.
Many travelers blame the upcoming holiday for higher gas prices, including weekend travelers Mike and Barbara Pollock.
It's going to always go up due to the fact of the holidays, and that's to me, it's not fair, but we got to live with it.
If you want to drive and go somewhere, you got to pay.
Workers at local stations say they do as they're told by the parent company when it comes to price changes.
We get emails every morning about 6:30 or 7. They're sent out from central office, and if they include a gas price change, then it's adjusted accordingly.
So if you're taking a road trip, you might want to hit an ATM first. You can check around for the best bargain, but it's unlikely you'll find cheap gas with a long weekend coming up. In Chapel Hill, I'm Holly Hedrick, Carolina Week.
Many motorists worry that gas prices could hit $2 or higher this summer. Students at Carolina may not know that one of their own could save their lives. We'll show you who the student is coming up.
But going to break, a showcase of African dance and music.
I'm principal of a new kind of public school. It's open up to 15 hours a day, year-round. It has loads of academic, cultural, and recreational activities. We have medical and dental services right here. Our teachers have more time to teach. Our students are better prepared to learn. There's just one problem. We can't get the kids to go home.
Find out how your public school can be more like this one. Call 1-877-LOVE-TO-LEARN.
Carolina Week recently won top honors in the Society of Professional Journalists regional competition. Many of our staff members will soon enter the professional ranks, where we'll be able to freely seek the truth. But during a recent trip to Moscow, Carolina reporter Regina Willis found out that Russian students are concerned about freedom of the press there.
Before the fall of the Soviet Union 10 years ago, Russian media outlets were tightly controlled by the government. Natalie Labina is a Russian journalism student at the Moscow State Institute for International Relations, known as McGIMO. She remembers the effect government control had on the Soviet media.
There were very strict boundaries for your activities, and you could only follow some specific instructions.
Though the number of independent media outlets has increased significantly in the past decade, that trend could be ending. What was the biggest independent Russian TV network, NTV, is now controlled by a state-run gas conglomerate. That concerns some Russian students.
There needs to be such a station that is free to show them things that are opposite to what the government wants them to show. So NTV is the example of that.
State channels try to show the advantages of our government, the right steps of it, and NTV shows the bad sides of it, and government doesn't like it.
Despite all of the changes in Russian media, students are still optimistic about their careers.
We now have much more opportunities to be creative and to do what we find interesting.
McGill journalism students put together their broadcasts from this studio every week. They're the future of journalism in Russia.
Labina and her Russian classmates hope that the political situation they face in their lifetimes will allow them to follow their dreams. In Moscow, I'm Regina Willis, Carolina Week.
UNC-Chapel Hill has an ongoing partnership with the Russian school McGIMO.
Chapel Hill is now a little cleaner thanks to some Carolina students. Members of the Greek community joined forces Saturday to pick up litter around Chapel Hill. The Day of Community Service marked the end of Greek Week. That's a week promoting the Greek system through social and community service events. The sorority or fraternity with the most involvement over the week receives money to go toward its philanthropy project. The winning group will be announced next week.
The college basketball season is over, but Carolina men's basketball player Joseph Forte and others are still hooping it up, now helping the fight against cancer. Forte and Carolina teammates Will Johnson and Jonathan Holmes were among more than 60 students who played in the second annual Carolina Cancer-focused 3-on-3 basketball tournament this past weekend. The tournament raised more than $1,000 for the Lineberger Cancer Research Center, North Carolina's public comprehensive cancer center. Forte's team did not win the tournament.
Many students find it extremely difficult to find the time to do homework, hold down jobs, have social lives, and get enough sleep at night. But one Carolina student manages to set aside several hours each week to volunteer with the local fire department. Carolina Week's Nicole Brusick spent a day with Hergen Spalink, finding out why he makes the time to help keep us safe.
When Carolina junior Hergen Spalnik drives off in a fire truck, he's ready to risk his life. As a volunteer firefighter with the New Hope Fire Department, he's had plenty of experience on the front lines of a blaze. Firefighting is a dangerous job that Hollywood has tried to make look glamorous. In the 1991 blockbuster hit Backdraft, Kurt Russell tried to show people you can put out the fire, save the child, all while looking good. But Hergen says that real firefighting...
Well, it's a little harder and less dramatic than it is in Backdraft.
Although Hergen enjoyed the movie Backdraft, he says that Russell needed to wear just a little more protective clothing. To actually enter a raging fire and not get burned, you need to have on fire-resistant pants, boots, hat, coat, face covering, gloves, and an oxygen mask to help you breathe while in the smoke. The gear is heavy and hot, but firefighters know that this job comes with some big obstacles.
Firefighting is one of the most dangerous occupations, and the work that Hergen does here with the New Hope Fire Department is because he loves his job, not because he gets paid a penny.
I don't really think it would be the same if I were getting paid. I don't think you'd get the same satisfaction out of it.
But at times, even Hergen reflects about the reality of his job.
What I do is actually a little more life-threatening. I'm running into buildings that everyone else is running out of.
Full-time firefighter Brian Sear is glad that Hergen came on board.
He knows his stuff. I feel safe going into a fire with him any day, with him backing me up on the line or me backing him up.
Hergen risks his life for free, volunteers his time for free, and works to keep us all free from harm. Despite the difficulties, Hergen enjoys firefighting so much he is often heard leaving the scene of a fire saying,
"Do you want to be a fireman?"
In Chapel Hill, Nicole Brusick, Carolina Week.
Hergen decided to become a firefighter after one of his friends injured himself trying to put out an apartment fire.
It's the season for sneezing, and although it's beautiful outside, allergies are forcing some of us to stay indoors. One of the main causes for the runny noses and itchy eyes is pollen. The yellow dust not only bothers those with allergies, but leaves a mess on automobiles and sidewalks. Physicians say drinking plenty of water helps alleviate some allergy symptoms. Despite the pollen, the weather's been really gorgeous this week.
It has been so nice, but I feel like we've just skipped spring altogether. Now we're in summer.
Yeah,
that's right. Summer certainly has made quite an appearance. Sunny skies and record high temperatures have been luring everybody outside for the past couple of days. And speaking of those record high temperatures, the weather question this week is, what is our highest April temperature on record? Is it A, 79, B, 89, C, 92, or D, 95? I'll be back with the answer and your weekend forecast in just a minute.
Un día en el bosque las ratas jugaban. Fósforos que no es muy bueno. Escucha Smokey antes de tratar.
Solo tú.
No juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego. Fuego. No hay nada perturbable, conejo asustado. A un pobre ratón sin casa en que vivir. Si un hermoso bosque es lo que deseas, no juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego.
Solo tú puedes prevenir los fuegos forestales.
¡Fuego!
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. We were talking about those warm temperatures before, and for sure, this wonderful weather has everybody wanting to be outside this week. This little guy seemed to have the best view of the weather, though. The high pressure that moved into the region last week has stuck around for a while, bringing out summer clothes, lots of outdoor activities. The walks to class have been beautiful with all the flowers blooming and the trees starting to show their green leaves. Unfortunately, though, with all this blooming and warm conditions, we see the return of the allergies, kind of like what we were talking about before. We're actually in the peak of our tree pollen allergy season right now. It is about mid-April, so we're right in the thick of it. But don't fear if you're suffering. There are some things you can do about it without going to the doctor. You can avoid being outside between 5 and 10 a.m. because that's when the trees pollinate the most. And you can change your clothes frequently if you tend to be in and outdoors throughout the day. Also, it's a good idea to shower at night so you can rinse it all out of your hair and you don't go to bed breathing in all that pollen that tends to build up throughout the day. But let's see what the weather is going to be bringing over the next couple of days. Rain, for sure, is one of those things that will wash away the pollen, and we do have a little bit of it, which might be a welcome change since we haven't seen a cloud in the sky for days. We're experiencing a front a little bit out to the west, and right now this is showing some shower activity, but by the time it actually drags over the mountains, we might be losing a bit of it. So the chance for showers on Friday is actually decreased from what we had been seeing earlier in the week.
and the weekend looks fantastic as well. If we take a look at the Carolina Week 4-day forecast, we do see a chance of showers on Friday, but things will be moving on out of there by Saturday and Sunday. Highs on Saturday will be around 76, and on Sunday, cool down to about 67, but with the sun in the sky, it'll feel wonderful. Next week looks like it's going to be starting out pretty well. Also, partly cloudy skies and a high of about 66 degrees. Now, if you're headed down to the beach for Easter weekend, things look pretty nice there. We do have that chance of showers on Saturday, but again, it's not going to be that big of a deal, and there's certainly going to be clearing out by Sunday afternoon with a high of 76. So it'll be a beautiful day at the beach if you're going to be down there. If you're planning a trip out to the mountains, things look nice out there as well. Again, a chance of a shower on Saturday, but not bad all in all, as things really do clear out on Sunday. High of 64, so it's going to be a beautiful Easter Sunday regardless of where you are. So no record high temperatures on the way. It's going to be really nice and springy for once, but we did see some records set earlier in the week. But for all of April, do you know what the record high is? I'm going to go with 95. What do you think, Brooke?
I'm going with 92. How's that?
That's good. No, that's good. Yeah, it's actually 95, if you can believe it. That's quite a summery temperature for April, though.
Yikes. Thanks, Kylie. Well, with all these hot temperatures, Devin, is that translating in some Tar Heel victories for us in sports?
The way the weather's been, you'd think we're going to talk about summer sports.
Well, that would make sense, but coming up in sports, we're going to talk about ice hockey playoff fever. And it's the men's turn to try and beat Duke on the tennis court. But going to break, following Saturday's 7-5 victory over Virginia, the men's lacrosse team is up to 14th in the country. Next up for the Heels, the 15th ranked University of Maryland at Baltimore County.
To a child, a little of your time can make a lifetime of difference. That's why the Greenville Family Partnership sponsored a hike, because kids with something to do are less likely to do drugs.
Standing right in front of them.
Whether you're a good storyteller or a good listener, you can help. To find out about community drug prevention programs, call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313.
I can keep a kid off drugs.
North Carolina is where the wonders never cease. It's where visitors and residents alike can be touched by these things and always remember the embrace of clouds around the mountain peak, sparkling water forever in a hurry, a bridge less traveled, an enchanted wetland forest, and the place where the sun meets the sea.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. Senior Day is supposed to be the last time for seniors to show their good stuff in front of the home crowd. That wasn't quite the case Monday as the men's tennis team hosted number 3 Duke. Top-seeded duo Nick Monroe and David Sheetwood trying to set things up, but a Duke player hits it just inside the line. The Carolina Duke loses its 6th straight. It isn't any better on the singles side as Marcio Petroni clears the fence and the net. Bye-bye on that one. A small ray of hope for Carolina as Sheetwood tips one, but Duke's Marco Sorenko slams a few more, clinching a victory. The Heels lose 5-2 to the Devils. Their last 2 games are against Georgia Tech and Clemson. When someone says hurricanes in the Triangle, tropical storms usually come to mind. But this year, hockey playoff fever is storming into town. Carolina Week's Ben Hayes reports on the start of Carolina Hurricanes' playoff run.
The Carolina Hurricanes finished the 2000-2001 season strong, winning a 2-month-long battle with the Boston Bruins for the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. The Hurricanes moved from Hartford 4 years ago after many disappointing seasons. They played first in Greensboro, making the playoffs once, and have played here in Raleigh the last 2 seasons. Head coach Paul Maurice hopes the new scenery brings new success.
The NHL playoffs are really like playoffs in no other sport. It's a long grind. It's a 2-month battle, and the first round, as all champions will tell you, is the most difficult round. Once you get past that first round, there's only 8 teams left. If you can stay healthy and get good goaltending, you can go all the way.
Young stars such as rookie Shane Willis with his speed and 96-mile-per-hour slap shot are part of the team's success formula.
I think everyone's just going to contribute in their own little way, and I think we're all pushing towards the same goal, and I think if that happens, we're going to have success.
In order to be the best, Carolina must first beat the best. The Hurricanes will begin the playoffs against the defending champion New Jersey Devils Thursday night in New Jersey. In Raleigh, I'm Ben Hayes, Carolina Week.
Game 2 of the playoffs will be in New Jersey on Sunday at 3, and then the Hurricanes come home to the ESA for Game 3 and 4 next Tuesday and Wednesday nights. When two top 10 teams meet, you expect a great game. Saturday's women's lacrosse game lived up to the hype. Well, for half at least. The 6th-ranked Heels played host to 5th-ranked Georgetown and were looking good early. Goals by Christine McPike and Lindsay Stone kept the game close early, with Carolina only down 1 at the half. In the second half, the sister act of Sheon and Wick Stanwick took over for Georgetown. They combined for 12 goals and 4 assists on the day. The Heels couldn't get any breaks as they went on to lose by a score of 15-9. Carolina fell to 7-4 on the year, but they remain number 6 in the national polls. Spring practice for the Carolina football team rolls on into its 3rd week, and new head coach John Bunting makes the transition into the Tar Heel program. Bunting is implementing a strict and professional style of practice while trying to instill enthusiasm into the team. He says things are going well so far.
Well, we're trying to put a sense of urgency into this football team, a new sense of commitment, and so that they can become a more confident team. I don't think they're very confident, and in order to gain confidence, you've got to go out and execute, and you got to do it on a daily basis. Confidence, urgency, fly around and have fun while you're doing it has been the point of emphasis, and we will hit, we will scrimmage. You know, everything's being stressed so that we can execute fundamentally, but in a physical way.
Carolina wraps up off-season practices with the annual spring game on April 21st. Look for a one-on-one interview with Coach Bunting in 2 weeks right here on Carolina Week. Last week, we asked you to log on to our website and vote for whether or not you thought Joseph Forte should stay in school or test the NBA waters. 337 of you said he should stay for another year, and 133 said he should go pro. For all you math majors out there, that makes 71% who said he should keep wearing the Carolina blue. Well, Joseph Forte met with Dean Smith today, and so his decision should be pretty shortcoming.
Sounds like most students want him to stick around, but it'll be interesting to see if he actually does.
Yeah, thanks, Devin. Well, coming up next, we'll take you to an annual festival that's more than 50 years old.
Paddle boats take people out on the river to enjoy the sunshine, and young children can't resist the sweet treats. We'll show you where this all happens next on Carolina Week.
What could you do with a free hour of your day?
Take a jog, wash your car, bake a cake, or watch TV.
Ever thought about giving blood? It only takes an hour. It saved my life. Someday it may save yours.
A single pint of blood can save 3 lives. Be a hero. Give blood.
The weather's warming up and the flowers are blooming.
Especially the azaleas. The annual Azalea Festival draws thousands of visitors to Wilmington each year. Flower lovers celebrated the 52nd annual Azalea Festival during the weekend. People came from all across the state to enjoy the event. Little children took rides on wagons, and big kids shopped for holiday gifts and crafts. The festival hosted a variety of musical performers, including this man playing 2 recorders at once. Besides the music, people took advantage of the many goodies and waited for their turn to say hi to the Easter duck. Not everyone spent the day shopping. A few people cooled off on the waterway. This event celebrates the coming of spring and the southern heritage of North Carolina.
What a nice thing. I
So
love
nice.
azaleas.
And I'm so ready for Easter weekend too, and the beach.
And the
Wow.
pollen.
And the pollen. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to come back next week. Until then, have a good week.
And a good night.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at ibiblio.org/CW. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.